Hello everyone, I am dtiwary and I am here to present my project called Anti-Hate Tweet Detection, created during Text Information Systems course under MCSDS at UIUC in fall 2019. Many a times people leap to sweeping conclusions which often becomes outrage. Each emotional blast produces misstatement, exaggeration and errors. These are then seized upon by others which produce its own misstatement, exaggeration, and errors. Right wing talk radio invented the modern art of rant, cable TV pundits perfected it, and social media has made outrage part of daily discourse. Now, instead of a handful of screaming voices on radio and TV, there are thousands of people on left and right enraged upon each other. All of a sudden, there are powerful incentives to be fastest to react and loudest to shout. The audiences are much bigger than it traditionally has been. Nowadays, most of us find each other surrounded by outrage. A lot of times, these induce the hate crimes happening around us. The cost of outrage is mostly paid by the society, and it is often very high and leaves a mark at majority of sections of society. Social media platforms are misused a lot for spreading hate. Twitter is one of the major social media applications which provides its users a means to express their opinions and reach it to the mass. The ability of providing ease of reaching a huge audience often makes Twitter a platform for spreading intentional and unintentional outrage. Anti-hate tweet detection is an application built to detect social media opinions on Twitter which might be hurtful to certain sections of society and to prevent any possible hate crimes based on the recent hate crime related news. Benefits of AHTD. There are two major benefits I see. Society as a whole. Society as a whole will be benefited by the AHTD application. There are studies which show that social media outrage may lead to an increase in real life hate crimes. This tool can be used to scan such tweets and preventive action can be taken. Social media companies will benefit as they can stop and prevent becoming a means for spreading violence. Main functions of AHTD. Search recent tweets posted on Twitter based on a given keyword. Perform sentiment analysis on each tweet and assign a sentiment score. Further, search hate crime related news articles and web crawl them to extract the news content from web page. Scan the tweets with a negative sentiment score against the recent news articles related to hate crime. Finally, display top matching hate news articles with the negative tweets based on their relevance score. Components of AHTD. Twitter API for getting tweet results based on search keywords. Use News API for getting hate crime related news. Beautiful Soap has been used for getting content of web pages using the news articles returned by the API. NLTK Natural Language Toolkit library of Python is being used for stop words removal and stemming of tweets and the collection of news articles. The text block library has been used for performing sentiment analysis over the tweets. Finally, BM24 is a library which is used for searching the tweets as search keywords within the news document. Here are the design details. AHTD is a web-based application and is built using Django web development framework for Python. Here is a diagram which shows how various parts of the web application are organized and how they interact with each other during the application execution. Basically, it follows a model view controller construct and organizes its data tables, functions, and web templates in models.py, views.py scripts, and template directory respectively. Code for HTTP application stores its tables and their definitions in a models.py file. There are three tables being used: news, tweet, and score. The controller functions are defined in the views.py script. Template directory contains HTML files for each screen in the application. The view calls are mapped to web URL formats using the entries within urlconf and urls.py files. Now we will see the instructions to install the application. First, we will go to the directory where we want to install the application. We will clone the application from Git repository. Enter the username and password. Upon successful authentication, the Git repository will be cloned to local. Let's see what we have cloned. Polls directory will have majority of the source code. The important things to note for setup are requirements.txt and Twitter credentials.json. The former will have a list of dependencies and latter will have Twitter API credentials for developer account. Let's see the contents of credentials file. It is supposed to contain keys, tokens, and access secret for Twitter account. Replace the keys with your own credentials of developer account. We also need to update the keys to access News API. Get your credentials at newsapi.org and replace the key in polls/views.py file. Replace the API key used in defining the URL parameter that is used to call News API. Let's install the dependencies now using the list in requirements.txt. Make sure the pip utility is upgraded. Then install the dependencies by passing requirements file as an input to pip command. Next, we will need a list of stop words from NLTK library required for removal during text processing of tweets and news articles. We will, we will now create the database for our application. We will create the application database using the Django migrate command. It would be handy to have a superuser admin account to access the admin console to see the data flow during the application execution. We will create a superuser and select username and password. Email is optional. Make note of the admin credentials which we'll use to access admin screen. Now we are ready to start the web server and access the application. We are running the server on port number 8080. Open a web browser and access the home page on localhost 8080 slash poles or 127.0.0.1 8080 slash poles. Let's also take a look at admin screen. Use the superuser credentials to log in the admin screen. You can see all the tables present: news, tweet, and score. Each of these tables will be empty now. We will see the functionality in the next slide. Now we will see how to use the application. Make sure the web server is running. We know we can access the application on web browser using localhost or IP and port number with the post pattern in the URL. Homepage has a text box to enter search keyword and a search speed button. It also has a home button which is available on each screen and can be clicked anytime to go back to homepage. Let us enter a search term in the text box and click on the search button. This will fetch 20 matching tweets with the search keyword. It also processes the tweet text and stores the result in the tweet table. Above the tweet result there is an Access Tweets button. Clicking the button will start the matching and scoring process. In fact, it does a lot of things behind the scenes. It has loaded the tweet information in tweets table. We can go to admin screen and check the contents of the tables at this point of time. We can confirm that the tweet information is loaded in the tweets table. You can see that each of these 22 tweets are shown here. Clicking on the tweet will show us the user, date, text, and processed tweet. You can also see that there is some old data in the scores table. The fresh scoring will start after the news articles are loaded. The news API only returns the URLs of hate crime related news articles. The application accesses each web page URL and retrieves the web page content. Then it cleanses the HTML content to get the actual body of article and further processes for stemming and removing punctuation and stop words. After the processed news articles are stored in the table, the matching process is very fast. We can see that part of the 100 documents is loaded in the news article. The number of news articles being loaded will gradually increase. So far, 83 news articles have been successfully loaded in the news table. The application performs sentiment analysis on each processed tweet text using TextLog library. During the match process, it also uses BM24 algorithm to pass it as a search term against the processed news article. It stores the sentiment score and relevance score and URL of the most relevant news articles in the score table. We will have to wait until all the news articles are returned and processed. It depends on the response from the web page URL to decide how much time it will take to process all the tweets against the news articles. For example, the 91st news article is taking little more time than others to process. However, when all the news articles are loaded, the matching process will be very fast. Finally, it displays all the tweets with a negative sentiment score along with the most relevant news articles URLs and relevance scores. The sentiment and relevance scores are color coded, which are based on the score values. We can access the URL of relevant news articles by clicking and opening it. We can go back to the home page by clicking on the home button to access another set of tweets. We can see that the data is loaded in the scores table. Let's go back to home page and play around. There are certain limitations of the application. Twitter's standard API and the news API only returns 100 results under developer account. Tweet region is not made mandatory by Twitter, so location information cannot be used to match regional news articles. Search field validation is not performed by the application. A tweet search term can be at maximum of 500 characters. Language parameter has been used for searching tweets, but Twitter claims language detection as only best effort. News API only searches for recent news up to last 30 days. There are certain improvements that are possible in the application to increase the accuracy of the results. Additional features about datasets can be used in the match functions such as geography and time of tweets and news articles. The user portfolio and history of Twitter users may be also useful for improving the accuracy. Using a bigger collection of news articles is also possible. Probably using topic modeling for classifying news articles under hate crime is a potential option. Classifying the tweets and collection of articles under further categories of hate news like religious, political, etc. can be also found useful. At the end, I would like to thank for your time to go through the presentation. Thank you.